Creepy forest. Creepy forest. Any monsters out there? Any monsters out there? Yep. I got some volunteers from my YouTube subscribers. I'm sure one of them is more than willing to go out there, check around, make sure it's nice and safe. A true Gallantian would go out there. Yep. A true Gallantian would explore that forest for grizzly bears and to find out if it's safe for Jason to sit in his chair and do a video. Any true Gallantians out there? Come on, yeah, just go out there. I think I saw something move there. What was that? Huh? Something there? Hmm? Eh? What was that? I'm more than willing to risk your guys' lives if I have to in order for the channel to survive for the greater good. How can the Gallantians of the galaxy be properly informed from my YouTube videos if you guys aren't willing to make the supreme sacrifice? Train the muscles, not the joints. So welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding. And somebody just commented in one of the videos and they asked about lower back pain and how to take care of lower back pain. What should they do and whatever. So I did a couple videos on injuries and what you should do about injuries. But the thing is with lower backs is that they are finely tuned machines, right? There's so many different muscles that go into stabilizing the spine. There are ligaments as well, and then of course there are the discs between the vertebrae. And a lot of people have some misunderstandings around this. And the fact is that if one of those vertebrae is just a little bit out of place, it can cause a whole bunch of compensations all the way down the line. So that's why a lot of times when you see me line up for the squat rack, I actually put my fingers right in the side of my spine and I just rotate slightly just to kind of get everything kind of tuned up. I'm not like doing a high velocity movement, but I'm just basically holding the muscles of the sides of my back, the QLs, as well as some of the tight areas. And I'm just feeling in here like grooming feathers, just trying to make sure that lower back is all functioning right before I go to stabilize under a heavy weight. So this is why I recommend massage therapy. For most people, it's a good idea to go to massage therapy once a week or once every 2 weeks, just to make sure everything is finely tuned so the muscles are moving properly. The other thing is when you get out of bed in the morning and you just run to the gym and do some squats or deadlifts, that might not be the best idea without actually getting blood flow in there and retuning everything, recalibrating all the muscles in the lower back first. And I find this is really helpful. So this technique that I just showed you is great. Also, there are different types of physiotherapy type balls or little like wooden triangles like I have. Like I did a video on how I increased my bench press in 20 minutes. I show you this little wooden triangle thing that I lay on sometimes to get rid of muscle knots and trigger points in the lower back. Sometimes I'll lay on those things as well. If I feel like I have a tight area in my lower back, I'll make sure that I alleviate these areas first before I go do a heavy workout, because you don't want to have one side knotted up and then, you know, going up sideways when you're squatting, or you don't want to be lifting when you can tell that one side of your back or one part of your back is not stabilizing properly. Now, another thing you can do too, just to get some blood in there to warm up the back but not to strain it at all, is you lay on a Swiss ball, like, you know, one of those balls, and you just lift one leg at a time and just start to get blood flow in there. So you just do it enough times to get a little bit of a burn in the back, and you do a few sets like this, and it may help reset the nervous system as far as firing the hamstrings and the lower back at the same time. The leg lifts look kind of like this, but you're on a ball, you know what I'm saying? On a ball. So picture a ball, you know. Picture a ball right here. I'll be laying on the ball, and then one leg at a time, then 2 legs at a time. Works though if you have a ball. It doesn't look so stupid either. But remember, if you're squatting or bent over rowing or any of that kind of stuff, you want to make sure that you keep that neutral position of the lower back. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that the neutral position for the lower back is a slight arch. If you just see the spine itself, there's the upper back, which has a slight rounding, right? And then there's the lower back, which has a slight arch. And that arch should be maintained, especially if something is on your back. But Sasquatch doesn't have lower back pain. That mofo is pretty strong. Probably can lift all these logs up here. No lower back pain. I wonder what he does. It's a good question. What does Sasquatch do for his lower back pain? Hello, Mr. Sasquatch. What do you do for your lower back pain? Huh? Come on, share some tips. YouTube is waiting. He's kind of shy. Mr. Sasquatch. Where are you, Mr. Sasquatch? Mr. Sasquatch. Come on, man, show yourself. I'm on to you, man. I know you're watching. That's not you. That's a tree. I'm sure Mr. Sasquatch is around here somewhere. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you, Mr. Sasquatch. Okay, I'm a little afraid. Okay, a little afraid. A little afraid of Sasquatch. Some people are talking about rounding the bum under and trying to, you know, push that lower back out like that. That's not the right technique. You want to make sure that you keep those facet joints in the spine on top of each other, and then it makes a very stable column, kind of like bricks in a house. That doesn't mean hyper arching. It doesn't mean like overarching the back, but just a tiny bit of an arch, and that makes sure that the weight is distributed properly in the lower back. You see that? I jumped there. It was like I was Peter Pan. So yeah, this is a couple things that I do to make sure that I don't have lower back pain. And if I do have lower back tightness, I take care of it as the tightness shows up through doing my own trigger point release therapy with, like I said, that wooden triangle that I talked about, or I get a massage therapy treatment, or I do some massage on myself. And like I said, sometimes I do massage and movement, right? Now, the other thing to bear in mind is that it's not just the lower back that can have problems. If you have lower back pain, it's not always lower back tightness or upper back tightness that's causing the problem. Sometimes you may have glute tightness. So sometimes you need to do some massage on the glutes themselves, or on the glute medius, or on the piriformis muscle, which is underneath the glute, right? So all these muscles in there can cause your bum to round under. And then of course the spine can't remain arched enough. And then basically it puts more pressure on the ligaments and tendons. And then the muscles around the spine try to spasm to over-stabilize. Let's just put it that way. So you want to make sure that your legs, like your hamstrings and your butt, is also moving properly and getting proper blood flow, because if there's muscle knots or trigger points in there, then your lower back may be pulled out of alignment, right? So those are just a couple tips anyway to help you with lower back pain. Ideally, you do want to see a naturopath or a massage therapist to make sure that everything is finely tuned and running properly. But at the same time, these are just a couple little tips you can do to actually help with your training. Another thing you want to do too is make sure you have proper alignment during your lifts. So you're activating the core by sucking that belly button in towards the spine and keeping that back in the right position as you're squatting or bent over rowing. So that's really the most important thing. But otherwise, yeah, these are some maintenance tips that you can do. Hey, want some of this? Huh? You want some of this? Huh? You want some of that? Hey, want some more? Want some more? Hey, you want some more? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. Don't want any more of that, man. I hope this helped you out with your training. If you need to get hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com. And if you want to support this channel, just go to patreon.com under Natural Gallant Bodybuilding, and take care for now.